This is Dave with Nepco Tech Support. In this video, I will be discussing the basics of navigating the DL Windows user interface, as well as how to create accounts, lock profiles, pin holders, and card holders. Please feel free to pause the video at any time if it makes it easier to follow along. First, I would like to explain that DL Windows is our free lock programming software. It is not a full-fledged access control software. If a full-featured access control software is what you are looking for, then you may want to check with your locking professional or one of our regional sales reps for one of our other access solutions. You will notice when you first log into DL Windows that all of your icons at the top are grayed out. They will remain that way until you create your first account and lock profile. To create an account, you right-click on the blank area on the left and choose the option New Account. You will then get the New Account window, and you will name your account by typing in the name where it says Account Description. I will name mine Building 1 for this example. When you are done, click OK. After you click OK, you will get a pop-up asking if you would like to create a new lock profile. I will click Yes and begin to add my first lock profile. For the lock description, I'm going to type lobby door. And let's say my lock is a ETPDL. I will choose that in the lock type drop-down and click OK. You will see the global users window pop up. I will get to that in a few minutes. But for now, let's close that. Now that we have an account and a lock profile, you will see the icons above are all lit up. Before I go into explaining these icons, I will cover how to add more lock profiles after creating your first. All you have to do is right-click on an existing lock profile and choose the option New Lock Profile. And the new lock profile window will pop up once again. From here, you just perform the same steps as you did previously. This time, I will choose a PDL 3000. The global users window will pop up whenever you create a new lock profile. And you can see over on the right-hand side that the new lock has been added to my global locks list. Once again, I will go into more detail on this window later in this video. Now let's take a look at these icons at the top of the program. On the far left, you will see Communication. This is for sending data to and receiving data from a lock, which I will cover in the next 2 videos of this series. To the right of Communication, you will see the lock icon. When you click on it, you will see the user information for that lock. You cannot modify this information. This is just for viewing. Schedules will show you the schedule programming for the selected lock. Schedule View will show you any schedules you may currently have assigned to this selected lock. In this case, you can see that I have no schedules set for these locks. I will cover schedules in detail in a future video. For now, we are just going over the interface. Features are for our common lock features. For example, past time in seconds is how long the door remains unlocked after receiving a valid badge or pin. Some lock models have a built-in relay, and those settings are controlled from here as well. You also have your tab for your remote release behavior. If you have uploaded a log from a lock recently, you can see that information when you click on the log button. This data does not show in DL Windows in real time. You must upload from a lock to view its logs. Wireless keypads is only available for networks locks and will be covered in a future video. DTM will be covered in the video for downloading to locks using the DTM. Global is where you add users to locks. I will go over this in more detail later in this video. Wireless is for networks locks and will be covered in a future video. Same for gateway config, that is networks also. Emergency is for emergency lockdowns, which is also a feature only available with networks locks. Finally, options is where you have some other features that don't fall under the other categories. The one option I want to focus on here is at the bottom where it says automatic database backup frequency. As you can see, by default, it's set to weekly. If you have a large business where card holders and pin holders change often, I recommend setting this to daily. You can also see underneath, in green, the location where these files are saved to. This location cannot be changed. Now that we have gone over the basics of the UI, let's go back to the global window. Like I said before, you can see your locks on the right. On the left is where you will add your users. To add a user, click on a blank space on the left, then type in the username and assign them a PIN number. The only fields that are mandatory are the first name and either a PIN number or a card, which we'll get to in a minute. Everything else is for your records only. I would like to note that the section that says expiration date does not refer to the PIN number or the card added to the user. It is only for Bluetooth credentials. DL Windows does not offer an option for an automatic expiration of users. For that option, you would have to look at one of our other access solutions. Creating a card holder is much the same as creating a pin holder. Simply click on a blank space to the left, type in the name, and then in the bottom right, click on Add Card. From here, you will select the card type, which, unless you ordered special locks, they will be 125 kilohertz. You will also see card format, which will be determined by the cards you purchased. Then there is the card code, which should be printed on your card. And then the facility code, which should be on the box or bags your cards came in. If you bought our Alarm Lock branded HID cards, the facility code will be 19, and the card format will be NAP 36-bit. You will also notice this checkbox here for the AL Pre. I will cover the AL Pre in its own video, so ignore this box for now. The sequential add checkbox is if you want to add multiple cards in sequential order. It will base its information on the information you added above. For example, I entered card number 1136185 with a facility code of 19. So if I choose to check the sequential add button, it will automatically add the designated amount of cards following that number. So the next will be 1136186, then 87, then 89, and so on. And they will all have the same facility code. If you want to delete users, you can select them on the left. You can select multiple users by holding down the Control key on your keyboard. After you have selected the users, you will right-click on them and choose the option Delete. It's at this time that I would like to mention that if you create a user that has both a PIN and a card assigned to it, like this one here, that user will be required to use both credentials to access the door. If you wish to have an either-or scenario, then you must make two separate entries, one for PIN and one for the card. You can see in the user list that it shows you a card icon if that user is a card holder, and it will show a PIN as well. If it shows both, then you know that user needs dual verification to enter. Now that I have shown you how to create users, let's go over how to add them to the locks. If a lock has no color to it, it means that the user will not be added to that lock's list of users. To add a user to the lock, you will first select the user on the left, then double-click on the lock you wish to add them to. When it shows green, that means the user will be active for that lock. If you double-click again, that will make the user disabled for the lock and it will show in red. If a user is red, the user will still be in the list of users for that lock. It will just be disabled. If you want to remove the user entirely from the lock, then you will click on it until it is clear again. You can also see if I hover over the lock, a pop-up will come up letting me know what will happen if I double click on it. As a reminder, this is not in real time. You still have to send a download to the locks before any of these changes will happen. And I will be covering how to download to the locks in the next 2 videos. Before I let you go, I would like to mention one more thing. There are a lot of other features I didn't cover in this video. For example, all of the things listed in the right-click menu for the global users. You can see at the bottom here where it says, add a block of empty slots to list. Well, if you ever wonder what these things are for and what they do, you can always reference the manual that came with the DL Windows download. It's in the folder that says DL Windows Software User Guides. And if you open the Basic Users Guide and hit Control F, it will bring up the Find window. And if I type in, add a block of empty slots to list, I get 3 returns. The first return tells me, see page 31 for more information. And the second return takes me to page 31. And you can see here it says, if all slots in the user list are filled and you wish to add more users, click this menu item to add a specified number of additional empty slots to the user list. The Add Blank Users dialog opens, shown below. Type a number into the number field. The available range will be specified in the dialog, and click OK to add the slots, or click Cancel to exit without adding slots. So if you find things in the program that aren't explained in any of these videos, you can always look for them here. In the next 2 videos, I will be covering how to download to your locks using the AL PCI-2U and the DTM3 module. And remember, if you ever need any documentation on a NAPCO product, or if you are looking for more videos like these, head on over to our tech library at tech.napcosecurity.com.